how young is young enough to start these conversations about safe touch and boundaries?
Start early. You know, like I guess these conversations, we've moved on from having the big chat, you know, that one big chat. And the conversations start, I think, with our babies, you know, just really sharing, not doing to the babies and the kids, but kind of having opportunities when it's bath time, when you're changing nappies, to just be talking about, you know, you're a big girl now, you're a big boy now, or you know, you're at kindy or you're at school, and so you can be washing your own, you know, private parts of your own bottle. I think parents and caregivers will have all different views as to, you know, when these conversations should start. I remember working with a family where the wee 2-year-old would sit on Nana's lap and they would read a story about where babies are made, you know, and it started then. And then I've worked with other families where that book would not come out until the child was age 12.
Yes. Right.
You know, we work with families where, you know, sometimes the mums will kiss their kids on the lips, good night, or, you know, goodbye in the morning to go to school. And I've worked with other mums where they would never kiss their kids on the lips because for them that it didn't feel right or it felt a bit too intimate. And so there's no right or wrong, I think, but our encouragement is that this doesn't need to be a taboo topic.
Correct, and that earlier is better. So I've worked with a parent not long ago who had a 7-year-old and still felt like that was too young to start talking about privates being private and how babies are made and that sort of thing. But I think what I would remind about is how prevalent and available the internet is, and even games that children play, where a stranger might come into a game and show something or do something that's not really okay. And so younger and younger children are looking online, seeing things that are, you know, not okay, and younger children at school have language that would be shocking, that is just shocking to adults. So 7 is, I think, could be a bit late nowadays. I agree with you, Lynn. The earlier the better, and that early on conversation starts about our teen and our boundaries and our body being sacred and who can touch you. Like, you know, we talk about the people who can touch your privates are your mom or your dad, the doctor with them present probably, but that's about the limit. No one at school, an auntie or an uncle, unless there's some arrangement where they're caregiving. But even then, you know, really, nobody should be touching their privates unless there's something a little wrong.
I think adults need to be prepared for the big questions that come. You know, just in the last couple of weeks, I've heard of several families. One where a 7-year-old came home and asked mum what a blowjob was, and another family where a 9-year-old came home and said the kids at school are talking about 69ers. You know, what is that?
Yeah.
So, you know, we're long gone of having these big conversations when kids are
at puberty.
And, you know, like if we had 10 different families sitting in the room, or 10 different lots of parents, I'm sure each of us would have a slightly different way of approaching and asking, approaching and responding to those questions. So our encouragement is for adults to think about that. You know, the what if your children are coming home to ask these questions. First of all, it's great that they're coming home and feeling safe enough to ask.
Yes.
Because if they go to Google, they're going to get a whole lot more than what they bargained for.
That's the other point, actually, is to just, we really encourage parents to set a safe space for any question. No questions off limits. You have to be prepared and think about how you'll answer them, but if we make it really okay for kids to ask questions, then they can, and you can have more control over what they get as an answer.
Because, you know, historically often kids have been told off for asking questions or saying anything, so, you know, that's dirty. You know, we're not talking about that. Often there's quite a shame-based way that adults can respond to kids. Sometimes humiliate them, you know, sometimes laugh. So again, as parents, I think, and caregivers, and actually all children in our lives, to really treat it as quite a treasure when children feel safe enough to come and ask about the big stuff that they are hearing about and being exposed to. And to give yourself a minute, you know, take a breath and just say, and to be curious. You know, I'm kind of curious about your question, and wow, I'm kind of curious where you might have thought about that. Really great question. Let me get back to you. You know, let me think about it, and I'll get back to you with a response. I think, you know, being gentle on ourselves as parents and caregivers, we're not always going to get it right. But responding gently and respectfully, not reacting, is helpful.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's a teaching opportunity, I guess. You know, all behaviours, all situations where parents or caregivers might walk into the kids exploring each other in the bath, or playing the game in the hut, or out on the trampoline with their pants down, and or gestures or jokes or whatever it might be. There's the treasure in terms of being able to have a conversation.